guys, welcome back. This is Jenny from Polly's Paper Studio, and in my last video we did a tutorial using this fun cupcake stamp on pattern paper and made this card. And in that video I shared that I had some ideas that I wanted to try with this same fun technique. So as promised, I am bringing you some Halloween cards with that same gorgeous paper piece stamped cupcake. So there are some differences here. I just wanted to improve on that sweet and simple card, so it still has a beautiful die cut frame and the stitched oval. I shared those in the previous video for the tutorial, and I will link that in the description. So if you want to go back and catch that tutorial, you can get the brands of what I used here. For this cupcake, obviously purple and green are some not traditional but very cool Halloween colors, so I switched that color palette out. I also changed the cherry from being red to this purple. Now, I didn't have purple glitter paper, so I had to die cut that out of regular black cardstock, and then I added purple stickles over top and allowed that to dry. So that becomes my cherry on top. Here is a bow with a second twine bow and a vintage button. I have a very cool spiderweb charm here hanging from it. Speaking of spiderweb, there is a spiderweb die cut peeking out from behind that bow. And that just carries that Halloween theme. Here is a bat that is die cut from the same black cardstock. And then the flowers I picked, instead of my usual green leaves, I went for black. And because that created a bit of a dark monotone color, I added some stickles to the ends of those as well. I've worked in a couple pretty purpley flowers to match my frosting. That has stickles also just to define those frosting curves. And then here is a stamped sentiment. Now, I did not have a curved sentiment for these cards that matched my curved banner with the stitching, so I moved to these Lawn Fawn Happy 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 add-on stamps, and they are not curved, but I was able to create that curved shape just by manipulating it on the Misty, and so I was able to utilize these straight sentiments onto the curved banner die cut. So this is my first Halloween card. I decided I want to have one in the traditional colors as well. So this is black and orange. Instead of doing multiple flowers, I went with one large flower. This is created with netting. This is from Petaloo and canvas. So it has a really cool webby sort of texture, and it has another banner with another Halloween sentiment. From the bow, this time I have a bat that hangs, and then I created another coordinating cherry with stickles again, and then instead of having an additional flower and a bat, I switched that out for this large black die cut spider. I've added some black midnight stickles to him as well, just for a little bit of extra detail. And then finish the top with some blingy bits. Now, of course, I want to do all the holidays, and I got to 2 of them, but I ran out of time. Here is my Christmas cupcake. I'm using Graphic 45 papers again for those 6x6 patterns. And so I just swapped out the color combinations for ones that would work for seasonal cards. And then I've added a die cut here that was from my stash. Just has some pretty holly leaves and a loopy ribbon with berries that finishes off. And one large flower does seem to work well for this A2 size card. I've got that sentiment again from the stamp set, and then I've put a snowflake charm here and then a candy cane. I thought those colors were really cute, and they kind of helped to pull that larger oval die cut color up to the front of the card. That one worked well with the red glitter paper, so I continued with that. And then for the oval on this one, I ran that through with this embossing folder. Now, it is not a snowflake, but it sort of looked snowflakey to me, and I knew that not much of it was going to show, so I got that impression that I wanted. This is a Cricut embossing folder. I don't have links to this, but I'm sure any snowflakey embossing folder would work great for this technique. And then another loopy bow and a vintage button finishes that off perfectly. Now, here is my favorite of all the cards I made this morning, and because you know I really love Shabby Chic, I wanted to do one with really pretty lighter colors. This pattern in the back is from Bow Bunny, and it has frosted sugar cookies with sprinkles and candy canes, and I thought that is just so perfect for the holiday. Instead of the button on my bow, I switched that out for some tiny jingle bells, and so that is also holding my little snowman charm. I've got four handmade flowers, and then instead of my usual twine, I switched that out for metallic twine that I tied with loopy bows, and these flowers have pearl centers, and these have some stamens. They came from really reasonable ribbon. You can pick those up and create your own flowers. So for this one, I've got that Christmas sentiment again. I've built up some dimension so I could tuck in a couple of these large chunky silvery stars, and the frame I cut out of silver, just regular shiny cardstock, so that it would be silver and pink for the color combination. And then this beautiful polka dot frosting has some iridescent sequins. These are from Pretty Pink Posh, and I didn't want to get out the sheet of glitter, so I used my stickles to just finish that frosting on top. So last but not least, just a couple of vintage buttons here in the corner, and that finishes off my Shabby Chic Christmas card. Remember, these are all A2 size, so that stamp is perfect focal image size for this. If you want to check out that tutorial that I did on Monday, I will leave that in the description below, as well as for our social media handles. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, and our blog and our Etsy shop. So if you enjoyed this video, won't you please leave me a comment and give me a like? And if you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe. As always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I will catch you in the next video.